Hey you, yes you, the one who's always saying yes when you really want to say no. I see you. I've been you. And I'm here to tell you there's a better way. In this video, I'm going to share the exact strategies I used to go from a burnt-out yes person to a respected boundary setter. You'll learn how to say no without feeling guilty, how to preserve relationships while prioritizing yourself, and how to actually gain more opportunities by saying no more often. Ready to reclaim your time and sanity? Imagine waking up every morning to a calendar so packed with commitments, you can barely breathe. Your day starts with a promise to help a coworker with their project, followed by a lunch you'd rather skip, and an evening event you agreed to attend months ago. This isn't just a busy day, it's the exhausting reality of a yes person. For many, the struggle of overcommitting is all too familiar. It often starts innocently enough, a desire to be helpful, to be liked, or to avoid conflict. But as the yes pile up, so do the consequences. What begins as a simple agreement can quickly snowball into an avalanche of obligations that threaten to bury you alive. The hidden costs of always saying yes extend far beyond a packed schedule. Physically, the constant stress takes a toll on your body. Cortisol levels spike, sleep becomes elusive, and your immune system weakens. You might find yourself catching every cold that goes around the office, or developing chronic headaches that no amount of painkillers seem to touch. But it's not just your physical health that suffers. The emotional drain of resentment can be even more insidious. Each time you say yes to something you don't truly want to do, a small part of you rebels. This internal conflict builds over time, leading to feelings of frustration, anger, and even depression. Your personal goals and dreams get pushed to the back burner, replaced by an endless stream of other people's priorities. Relationships, too, bear the brunt of a yes person's behavior. While you might think that always agreeing to help would strengthen your connections, the opposite often occurs. Friends and family members may start to take advantage of your willingness to help, leading to imbalanced relationships. Your partner might feel neglected as you prioritize everyone else's needs above your own. Even worse, you might find yourself avoiding certain people altogether, just to escape the pressure of another request. In the professional realm, the inability to say no can have serious consequences. Take Sarah, a talented graphic designer who couldn't turn down any request from her colleagues. She found herself constantly working on small favors and side projects, leaving little time for her actual job responsibilities. Despite working longer hours than anyone else in her department, Sarah's performance reviews suffered, and she watched in dismay as less talented but more focused coworkers received promotions she'd been eyeing. Or consider Mark, a promising young entrepreneur who said yes to every networking event and collaboration opportunity that came his way. While his contact list grew impressive, his actual business floundered. He spread himself so thin that he couldn't dedicate the necessary time and energy to his core product development. 2 years in, Mark found himself with a vast network but a failing startup. These stories might sound extreme, but they're more common than you might think. The good news is, there's a light at the end of this overwhelmed tunnel. It comes in the form of a simple, two-letter word, no. Learning to say no isn't about becoming selfish or unhelpful. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and resources are finite and valuable. It's a tool for self-preservation, allowing you to protect your well-being and focus on what truly matters to you. By setting boundaries and being selective about your commitments, you open up space for personal growth, deeper relationships, and more meaningful contributions in both your personal and professional life. Setting boundaries sounds simple enough, but for many, it feels nearly impossible. What if the real obstacle isn't a lack of willpower, but a complex web of emotional triggers you've never fully recognized? Understanding why we say yes when we really want to say no is crucial to breaking this habit and reclaiming our time and energy. Our tendency to agree to things we'd rather not do often stems from deep-rooted emotional triggers. These triggers are like invisible puppet strings, pulling us towards compliance even when it goes against our better judgment. They're shaped by our past experiences, cultural norms, and personal insecurities, creating a potent cocktail that makes saying no feel downright terrifying. One common trigger is the fear of missing out, or FOMO. We say yes to every invitation or opportunity because we're afraid of what we might lose if we don't. This fear can be particularly strong in our hyper-connected world, where social media constantly bombards us with images of others' seemingly exciting lives. But this fear often leads us to spread ourselves too thin, ironically causing us to miss out on the things that truly matter to us. Guilt is another powerful motivator. Many of us have been conditioned from a young age to believe that saying no is selfish or unkind. We worry that declining a request will disappoint others or make us seem unhelpful. This guilt can be especially strong when dealing with family members or close friends, as we feel an obligation to always be there for them, even at the expense of our own well-being. Low self-esteem can also drive us to say yes more often than we should. When we don't value ourselves highly, we might feel that we need to constantly prove our worth by being helpful and agreeable. We might fear that if we start saying no, people won't like us anymore or will stop asking us for help altogether. This can lead to a cycle of overcommitment and burnout as we try to maintain everyone's approval. Our past experiences play a significant role in shaping these triggers. Perhaps you were criticized for being selfish when you said no as a child, or maybe you witnessed a parent always putting others' needs before their own. These early lessons can create deeply ingrained patterns that are hard to break without conscious effort and understanding. Cultural and societal pressures also reinforce our yes mentality. Many cultures value collectivism over individualism, emphasizing the importance of harmony in group cohesion. In these contexts, saying no can be seen as disruptive or disrespectful. Even in more individualistic societies, there's often an expectation of constant productivity and availability, making it hard to prioritize our own needs without feeling guilty. Gender expectations can significantly influence our ability to say no. Women, in particular, often face societal pressure to be nurturing, accommodating, and selfless. This can make it especially challenging for women to assert their boundaries without fear of being labeled as difficult or bossy. Men, on the other hand, might struggle with saying no in situations where they feel it might make them appear weak or less masculine. Understanding these triggers is not about finding excuses for our behavior. Instead, it's about gaining the self-awareness necessary to make real changes. When we recognize the emotional drivers behind our tendency to say yes, we can start to challenge these automatic responses. We can ask ourselves, is this fear or guilt rational? Is saying yes truly in line with my values and priorities? Now that we've uncovered the hidden forces driving our yes habit, it's time to master the delicate art of refusal. But can saying no actually make people like you more? The answer might surprise you. Assertive communication is the key to maintaining healthy relationships while protecting your own boundaries. It's about expressing your needs and limits clearly and respectfully, without aggression or passivity. Many of us fear that saying no will damage our relationships or make us appear selfish. However, the opposite is often true. Honesty is the foundation of trust and respect in any relationship. When you're consistently honest about your limitations and commitments, people learn to value your word more. They understand that when you do say yes, you truly mean it. This authenticity strengthens bonds rather than weakening them. The way you frame your refusal can make all the difference. Instead of a flat no, try offering alternatives or explaining your reasoning. For example, if a colleague asks for help on a project you can't take on, you might say, "I'm not able to assist with the full project, but I'd be happy to review your proposal next week." This approach shows that you've considered their request and are willing to contribute within your means. Timing and delivery are crucial when saying no. Choose a moment when you can give the person your full attention, and deliver your response with kindness and clarity. Avoid making excuses or over-explaining, as this can undermine your position. A simple, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm not able to commit to that right now," is often sufficient. Having a repertoire of polite but firm phrases can help you navigate various situations. For work-related requests, you might say, "I'm focused on completing specific task right now, so I can't take on additional projects." In social settings, try, "Thank you for the invitation, but I have other commitments that evening." For personal favors, "I wish I could help, but my schedule is already full this week." As you practice setting boundaries, you'll begin to notice positive changes in your relationships. People will come to respect your time and energy more, leading to more balanced interactions. You'll find that your yes carries more weight, and others will be more appreciative when you do agree to help or participate. Surprisingly, saying no can actually deepen your connections with others. It creates space for more meaningful interactions when you do spend time together. It also allows others to step up and contribute, fostering a sense of reciprocity in your relationships. As we wrap up, it's clear that embracing the power of no isn't about shutting doors, but opening new ones. By selecting our commitments carefully, we create space for opportunities that truly align with our values and aspirations. Remember, your time and energy are precious resources. Invest them wisely in pursuits that genuinely matter to you. Here's a challenge to kickstart your journey. This week, choose one request or invitation to decline politely. It doesn't have to be significant, even a small no can be a powerful step. Pay attention to how it feels and what it allows you to do instead. You might be surprised by the sense of relief or the unexpected benefits that follow. This simple act of boundary setting could be the first step towards a more balanced, fulfilling life.